Let us now begin our lesson about implicit differentiation. In the previous lessons, we've been defining functions explicitly, or in the form y equals f of x, or y equal to a function of x. So, for example, we have y is equal to 2x minus 3. That's an explicit function, or the value of y is explicitly expressed as a function of x. Okay, pwede din y is equal to, let's say, 4x cubed minus 5x squared plus 2x plus 1. So that is still an explicit form. Now, certain functions are also expressed implicitly. For example, if we have ito din. For example, this function is expressed as 2x minus y minus 3 equals 0. So, it is in implicit form, or the form of the function is f of x, y equal to 0. Or if we define y as a function of x, then this is also understood as 2x minus y, which is f of x, minus 3 equal to 0. So, one example of this is the formula of a circle. We have x squared plus y squared. That's equal to r squared. So, let's say, gawin na lang natin a squared. Okay, so this is an implicit function. Kung in this form alone, we don't know if which function or which variable is a function of what, of which variable. No, we don't know if this is y equal to f of x or if x is equal to f of y. Diba? Kasi implicit siya. What I mean is this. There. Is it implicit form? In its implicit form, we have x squared plus y squared equals a squared. Okay, let's add a slider for a and let's give certain values for a. Ayan, pwedeng ganun. Ayan siya. That is the graph of that function, that implicit function. But if we define one function in terms of one variable as a function of the other variable, then we'll have this. Okay, tingnan natin ha. If we define x or y as a function of x, then we'll have y or y squared equal to a squared minus x squared. So what I did, I just transposed this to the other side, and we take the root of both sides. We have y is equal to square root of a squared minus x squared. Or pwede rin, kung x is equal to a function of y, we'll have x equal to the square root of a squared minus y squared. So it's not the same graph anymore. So if we check using our graphing tool, ito, so let me take the, ano lang muna, invisible lang muna. So if we have y equal to the square root of a squared minus x squared, then we'll have this graph, okay? So function of x na siya. So if we draw a vertical line for vertical line test, it will only pass at one and only one point. Pero kung titingnan mo dito, that is half of the red circle, of the red graph. Diba? Okay. Same way, if we let x be equal to the square root of a squared minus y squared. Now, y is a function of x. So, that's dito na siya na side na half. So, i-turn off natin to. If we draw a horizontal line, it will only pass at one and only one point. So, therefore, x is equal to a function of y. So, in this graph that I've shown, this graph is the graph of f of x and y. Then, this graph is the graph of y is equal to f of x. And this graph is the graph of x equal to f of y. Okay, now how will we solve for the derivatives of functions in implicit form? So let's take this na lang as our example. Y is equal to 2x minus 3. We have y equal to 2x minus 3. So explicit na siya. So expressed na siya. Yung f of x, or no, yung y is expressed as a function of x. So if we need to get dy over dx or y prime, how do we do that? So we just say that the derivative of y with respect to x, dy over dx, that's just equal to the constant 2 times the derivative of x with respect to x. Okay? Kung isulat pa natin yung derivative of x with respect to x, we have 2 times the derivative of x with respect to x. So how would I say that? That is derivative of x with respect to x. And we know that the derivative of x with respect to x is just 1, di ba? 1 minus the derivative of 3, okay? The derivative of 3 is 0, okay? And we know that this is equal to 1. So therefore, dy over dx is equal to 2. Now, if our function expressed implicitly, how would we go with our differentiation? So if the function is 2x minus y minus 3 equal to 0, how would we solve dy over dx or y prime? How do we solve this? So ganun pa rin. It is as simple as getting the derivative of each term. Okay? So it goes like this. What is the derivative of 2x? That would be 2 times the derivative of x with respect to x. Then minus, what is the derivative of y with respect to x? That is the derivative of y with respect to x. And then minus the derivative of 3 is 0. So minus 0, that's equal to 0. So this is equal to 0. And again, this is just equal to 1. So therefore, we'll obtain the same result, which is dy over dx equal to 2. Okay? Medyo step-by-step process muna tayo or medyo detailed process para you'll know what we are doing. Then, along the way, isi-shortcut na natin yung process. Okay, so this is already our problem 4. Let's take this as problem 4.19. Okay, based on the previous problem. So this time, let's try to answer this, problem 4.20. Then we'll use eto na lang, yung circle. X squared plus y squared equals to a squared. So we have x squared plus y squared equal to a squared. Then we need to find y prime, or that's dy over dx. So how do we solve this? So same process dito. Okay? Same process with this previous problem. That is simply getting the derivative of each term. Okay? So let's start with x squared. What is the derivative of x squared? General power rule. So we'll get 2x raised to 1, diba? The derivative of this is 2x raised to 1 times the derivative of x with respect to x. Okay. Bakit ganon? That is from the derivative of u raised to n. So the result is just n times u raised to n minus 1 times du over dx. In this case, this is our n times u raised to n minus 1 du over dx. Nagkataon ng u natin is x itself. So that's dx over dx, or simply yan lang. Cancel that out. Okay? So bear with me kung bakit masyadong detailed para maintindihan natin yung process mamaya na shortcut. This time, gamitan natin ng same general power rule ito. So this time, the derivative of y squared. So that would be 2y raised to 2 minus 1. So 2 times y raised to 1 times the derivative of y with respect to x. Okay? That is equal to the derivative of this, which is just 0. Okay? So from here, if we factor out 2, that would become x plus y prime equal to 0. So maka-cancel out lang yung x. Sige, sulat ko na lang. So if I factor out 2, this will become x na lang, maiwan dito. X, then eto, 1 naman to, so x na lang talaga naiwan. Plus, we factored out 2 here, so ang naiwan dito is y, and dy over dx. So that is simply y prime. That is equal to 0. So divide both terms by 2, cancel out lang yung 2, is still 0. So you'll have x plus y prime equal to 0. Then solving for y prime, we'll have y prime is equal to negative x. So y prime is equal to negative x over y. So this is our answer. That is the value of y prime, or dy over dx. Okay? So to make our very detailed solution short, pwedeng ganito na lang tatandaan natin. If we are looking for y prime or dy over dx, the derivative of that term with x 'Di ba? Is as is lang, parang kumuha lang tayo ng derivative as we have known in the previous lesson. But if you take the derivative of y, we always multiply that by y prime. 'Di ba? So, i-apply natin. So that would be the derivative of x squared is just the derivative of x squared, which is just 2x, plus the derivative of this is 2y, right? 2y raised to 1. That's 2y raised to 1. Sorry, raised to 1. And multiply that, since we are getting the derivative of this with respect to x, so you just multiply that with y prime, then equal to 0. So we just skip this whole process, yeah, nag-skip tayo nitong process, no? So, medyo shorter na yung solution natin. So, you factor out 2x plus y prime equal to 0. So, x plus y prime equal to 0. And y is equal to, y prime is negative x over y. Okay? So, that is how we solve implicit differentiation. So, sobrang easy lang. So, okay na, alam nyo na yung mga, yung detail ng solution niya. Then, now, we'll just solve the shorter way, the faster way. Now let's try this problem. Problem 4.21. Find the derivative of y with respect to x of the function x squared plus 4y squared equals to 4ay. Let us first identify this as constant. Yung 4a is constant, or a is constant. Okay, yung variables ito is only x and y. Now, so sobrang dali lang ang process in solving this. Just get the derivative of each term, right? So let me copy this first. X squared plus 4y squared is equal to 4ay. Then let's get the derivative of each term. So the derivative of x squared is just equal to 2x plus 4. Ito 4, constant naman yan, 4. Then multiplied by the derivative of y squared, which is 2y. Then, yeah, our process is we just multiply that by y prime because we are looking for y prime, or dy over dx. Okay, then tapos na. That is equal to, remember 4a is a constant, so we have 4a times the derivative of y with respect to x. What's the derivative of y with respect to x? That is simply y prime. I was just describing derivative of y with respect to x. That's y prime. We could also look at it this way. Derivative of y is 1 times y prime. That's 1 times y prime. Then all we need to do is to solve for y prime. So we could divide all terms by 2 because it's a common factor. So we'll have x plus 4y prime, that's equal to 2a y prime. So I canceled x, I canceled 2, then 2 din dito na cancel out. So ito na yung function natin. Then let's isolate y prime and solve for y prime. So we'll have 4y prime minus 2ay prime, that's equal to negative x. Okay? Then factor out y prime. Oh no, we could factor out 2y prime here. That's a common term. So you have 2y prime. So yung may iwan dito is just 2y. Then dito may iwan is yung minus a. Yung minus a. That is equal to negative x. Then solving for y prime, you divide both terms by 2 times 2y minus a para makancel this out. Then that's 2 times 2y minus a. So that would be negative x over 2 times 2y minus a. So this is our answer. Or pwede rin may positive form din to. From here, pwedeng ganito. You could also let this transpose to the other side. Or we could also transpose this to the other side. Then flip. Okay? So that would become 2ay prime minus 4y prime equals x. So this is the positive form of the answer. Then we'll have, again, the common factor is 2y prime. So that becomes a minus 2y. That's equal to x. So our answer could also be expressed like this. That's x over 2 times a minus 2y. Or simply, you just factor out negative here. Then ma-positive na siya dito. Then ma-flip lang sila, or ma-exchange lang yung positions nila. So you can answer it that way, or either of these answers are correct. Now let's proceed to our next problem, problem 4.22. Find the derivative of y with respect to x of the function. Okay, the given function is this, y squared times the quantity x plus 2y equals c squared. And again, c is a constant. Okay? So in this particular function, we notice that the product of two implicit functions. Okay? So, ganun pa rin gagawin natin. Since this is a product, then we use the product rule. Product rule. Ganun pa rin. Functions involving products. So, di ba yung process natin is that we copy the first times the derivative of the second function plus the second function, we copy that, then get the derivative of the first function. So, just do just that. So, copy the first function y squared times the derivative of the second function. So, the derivative of this is, the derivative of x is simply 1 plus the derivative of 2y is just, the derivative of 2y is just 2 times derivative of y, which is y prime. Okay, so therefore the derivative of this is just 1 plus 2y prime. Okay, and then add, copy the second function, which is x plus 2y times the derivative of the first function, which is derivative of y squared, that's 2y raised to 1 times y prime. We multiply by y prime because we are looking for dy over dx or y prime. So that is equal to, of course, the derivative of a constant is 0. So that's equal to 0. So it's all about algebra na lang in simplifying this expression or this equation in order for us to solve for y prime. So ganun lang siya kadali. So this time, we'll just solve for y prime. So what I will do here is I will try to isolate, or I will try to group the terms involving y prime. So I'll do that by first distributing this. We'll have y squared plus 2y squared y prime. So ako rin nag-distribute. Or dinistribute ko lang tong y squared sa labas ng parenthesis. Then plus, eto pa rin, I'll just distribute this here. So we'll have 2xy y prime plus 4y squared y prime. That's equal to 0. Then if you notice, eto magkapareho. Diba? Magkapareho sila. That's y squared y prime, the variable. So we could just combine this as 2 plus 4. So that's 6. So this becomes y squared. Then if I combine these two terms, that would be plus 6y squared y prime. Then this, which is 2xy y prime. And that is equal to 0. Okay. Or pwede ito, I'll just transpose it to the other side. Okay. So that will become 6y squared y prime plus 2x y prime, that's equal to negative y squared. Now, I could factor out already y prime. We have common dito 2, common din yung y, and also y prime. So, yung i-factor out natin is 2y y prime. So, yung may iwan dito is yung factor na 3, na-factor out, may naiwan pang y dito. Kasi dalawa yung y dyan. So, may naiwan pang y plus, eto, we factor this out, so x pa yung naiwan. That is equal to negative y squared. Okay? So, solving for y prime now, we just transpose this to the other side, then we'll have negative y squared over 2y times 3y plus x. And then, common, we could cancel out y dire, or from here. So, cancel out y, we'll have our final answer as y prime equal to negative y. Y na lang naiwan sa taas sa numerator. Then, over 2, so na-cancel out na to. Then, how about if I just rearrange this? Unahin na lang natin yung x. Pareho naman silang, parehong positive. So, it's just the same as x plus 3y. Ayan, so that is our answer. This would be our final answer. Very easy. Now let's try this one, problem 4.23. So we have this implicit function, the quantity x squared minus y squared, that's equal to 4a y cubed. So again, 4a, or a is a constant. So 4a is a constant. So ganun pa rin ang process. In this case naman, we'll employ the chain rule. Kasi we have a function within a function. Okay? Then the baby, actually, diba, if this is the mother, our baby here is the is an implicit function. Okay, so let's solve. So first, we'll try to get the derivative of this. So that would be 2. So this would be our solution. That would be 2 times x squared minus y squared raised to 2 minus 1, which is just 1. Okay? Then, so this is the derivative of this, the mother. Now, the derivative of the baby. So the derivative of that na nasa loob, that would be this. The derivative of x squared, of course, we know that is 2x minus the derivative of y squared. So the derivative of y squared is just 2y, y prime. Again, if we are taking the derivative of y, we always multiply that by y prime or dagdagan lagi natin ng y prime. Ayun, so tapos na tayo. We have the derivative of the mother times the derivative of the baby. Wala siyang bulate. So that is equal to the derivative of this, which is just copy the constant for a times the derivative of y cubed. The derivative of y cubed is just 3y squared. You multiply with y prime. Okay? Then isolate y prime, isolate all terms with y prime, then you have an answer. Sige. So para ma-combine ko yung mga may y prime, I need to distribute this first and combine the resulting term to may y prime na term dito. So let's do just that. So we'll have, multiply this first. So we'll have 4x, x squared minus y squared, minus 4y, x squared minus y squared, y prime. And that is equal to 12ay squared, y prime. Now, combine natin yung terms sa may mga y prime. So, eto na lang, I'll transpose this here. Then, i-flip natin. So, we'll have 12a squared, ay squared, y prime plus 4y, x squared minus y squared, y prime. That is equal to 4x, x squared minus y squared. Okay? Then, common factor. Common factor dito is 4, di ba? We could factor out 4 and cancel out 4. So, divide all terms by 4. Pwede rin ganun. So, if we divide all terms by 4, we'll have 3a squared y prime plus y times x squared minus y squared y prime. That's equal to x times x squared minus y squared. Okay? So, ano yung mga common factor na pwede ma-factor out? So, we can factor out y and y prime. Okay, so what will remain here is just 3ay. And what will remain here, ito na factor out na. We'll have, ito na lang, x squared minus y squared. And that is equal to x times x squared minus y squared. Then solve for y prime. So y prime now is equal to x times x squared minus y squared, then over y times 3ay plus x squared minus y squared. So that's our answer. Actually, pwede din natin continue to, no? If you look at this, x squared minus y squared squared is equal to this. So how about if I take the square root of this both sides? Sige daw. Let's try to continue that. We have x squared minus y squared squared equal to 4a y cubed. So take the square root of both sides, we'll have x squared minus y squared. That's equal to 2 square root of a y cubed. Or that would be 2y square root of ay. No? Pwede ganun. So we could express our answer also as x times x squared minus y squared, which is this. So that's 2y square root of ay. Then divided by y times 3ay plus, of course, this again, 2y square root of ay. Ayan. So, write ulit natin. So, that will be 2xy square root of ay. Pwede ganito yung answer natin. Over, wala namang factor out. We could factor out y, oh. Could factor out y. Okay, let's factor out y. So, may y squared na siya dito. We'll have y squared and ma-cancel out. That will be 3a plus 2 square root of ay. Ayan, we could cancel out pa to. So, y prime could be 2x square root of ay over y times 3a plus 2 square root of ay. Okay, that could also be our answer. So let us now try to answer this problem, problem 4.24. So the function is this, x minus y over x plus y, that's equal to x over y plus 1. Then we need to get the derivative of y with respect to x, dy over dx. Okay, this involves quotient rule, which is, if we apply the quotient rule, medyo complicated siya, di ba? Yeah, kung gagamit tayo ng quotient rule dito, ito yung mangyayari. So, for the quotient rule, so, bilisan ko lang dito ha, you just square the denominator, x plus y squared, you copy it here, x plus y, then the derivative of this, which is, the derivative of x is 1, then minus the derivative of y, which is y prime, so minus y prime, diba? Or 1 times y prime. Remember that if we get the derivative of y, we always multiply it with y prime. Then subtract by the numerator x minus y times the derivative of the denominator, which is 1 plus derivative of y prime. That's equal to, again, we do quotient rule dito, and the derivative of 1 is 0 naman. So, ito lang yung kukunin natin derivative. So, that would be y squared, y times 1 plus x, plus x times y prime. Ayan. Or we just apply the quotient rule, square the denominator, copy the denominator, derivative of the numerator, which is 1, plus, minus, so this should be minus, no? It should be minus the numerator times the derivative of the denominator, which is y prime. Now, from here, medyo complicated na yung maging process. Diba? Para ma-release natin yung y prime. So, medyo complicated na siya. So, ayun. So, medyo mahaba yung maging solution. So, what we will do na lang is ganito. So, that means we will not apply, or I will not use this method kasi masyadong mahaba yung algebra after. So, ang gagawin ko na lang, I'll just simplify this first para yung derivative natin much simpler din. So, we have x minus y over x plus y. Then, I'll just combine this. That would be y, x plus y in numerator. Then, eto siya, quotient pa rin. I don't like quotient rule kasi medyo complicated. So, cross-multiply ko lang to. I'll just transpose that to the other side so that we'll get y times x minus y. That's equal to x plus y times x plus y. And I think this is much simpler than the first expression or equation. So, that's y times x minus y times x plus y squared, which is much more simpler. And I think mas madali na to kunin ang derivative. So, we just apply product rule here because it's the product of this and this function. Then apply the chain rule here, or the general power rule with the chain rule, of course. So applying the product rule will have copy the first function times the derivative of the second function. So the derivative of this is just 1 minus y prime plus copy the second function x minus y times the derivative of y, which is of course y prime. Then that is equal to the derivative of this. So we'll just apply the general power rule. So that would be derivative of the baby, kasi may chain rule siya, may function sa loob. Derivative of the baby. So that's 2. I mean the mother pala. That's 2x plus y raised to 1 times the derivative of this function or the baby. That's 1 plus y prime. And I think mas madali na itong simplify. Okay. So expand muna natin for us to release y prime. Then let's solve for y prime. So we'll have y minus y prime plus xy prime minus y prime. Then that is equal to, eto, we need to use FOIL here. So that would be x plus x y prime. Wait, let me adjust this first. So x times xy prime plus y prime. Okay. So dito, we could combine these two. Right? Pareho naman sila. So y plus xy prime minus 2y prime. And then that would be equal to 2. And then dito, wala. Distribute na lang natin yung 2. So 2x plus 2xy prime plus 2y plus 2y prime. Okay, next we'll combine those terms na similar or like terms. So this one and this one would be combined, and also y prime, this one and this one. Okay, and also y pala. Y could also be combined. Okay, so ang gagawin natin is, eto na lang. I think kasi mas malaki yung terms dito compared dito para maging positive yung answer. So I'll just flip this first. So let me flip this. So that would be this equal to this. They are equal. Then combine tayo ng like terms. So that would be 2x. Then we could combine this first. Ito. This and this. So that would become, ito magiging minus 2xy. So xy na lang dito. So plus xy prime pala. xy prime, I mean. Then we need to combine this and this. So 2y minus y. That's y. And let's combine this and this. So ito maging positive. So 4y prime. Okay. And that would be equal to 0. Y 0 na. Combine natin yung may mga y prime. So that would be xy prime plus 4y prime. And then plus, i-combine na rin natin yung 2x plus y. That's equal to 0. Okay? Pwedeng ibalik din natin sa other side, no? X. And we could factor out, sorry. We could factor out y prime here. So if we factor out y prime here, so we'll have x plus 4y. And that is equal to, let me transpose this all, itong group na to. Let me transpose that to the other side again. So that's negative 2x plus y. So therefore, y prime is equal to negative 2x plus y over x plus 4y. So that would be our answer. And actually, there's a much easier way of solving this. Mas shorter. Ito siya kasi medyo complicated pa kasi meron siyang chain rule. So how about if much simpler na solution would be expand na lang natin to. And pwede expand din natin to if you like. Pwede na tayo mag-product rule. So that would be xy minus y squared. That's equal to, if we expand this, that would become x squared plus 2xy I mean, plus 2xy plus y squared, in which pwede nating makombine ito and ito. Right? Okay. So ito na lang unahin ko. So I'll have x squared, then 2xy minus xy. So that's xy. Then y squared minus negative y squared. Ito, transpose ko doon. So plus 2y squared. That's equal to 0. Then get the derivative. Pwede ganun. So get the derivative, that would be 2x plus the derivative of xy. That would be, parenthesis ko lang muna. This is a product of x and y, right? So copy the first, derivative of the second, plus copy the second, times the derivative of the first, which is just 1. Okay. So the derivative of xy is just xy prime plus y. Okay. Then plus the derivative of this, that is simply 2 times 2. So 4y raised to 1 times y prime. That's equal to 0. Okay. Then positive naman to, plus dito. So I can just release that from the grouping symbol. Safe na wala siya. Ayan. Then we can just combine the terms with y prime. So from here, I'll just factor out y prime. So I'll have y prime times x plus 4y. And I'll just combine these two. That would be plus 2x plus y equal to 0. So therefore, we have the same answer in a much easier way, 2x plus y over x plus 4y. And that's our answer. The same as dito. Medyo mahaba lang yung solution sa una.